At 3:48 a.m., deep in the freezing darkness of the Caspian Sea, a Ukrainian command cell had exactly 78 seconds to make a choice that could shift the momentum of the war. 78 seconds. One ship, one shot, a single opportunity to stop 200 deadly Shahed drones from ever reaching the skies over Ukraine. If they failed, Russia would unleash another devastating wave of low-cost loitering munitions, swarms that Ukraine's strained air defenses were already struggling to keep up with. If they succeeded, they could rewrite the night sky above the front line. This is the story of a strike unlike anything modern naval warfare has ever seen. Inside a dim bunker beneath Kiev, illuminated only by monitors and the steady glow of satellite feeds, analysts noticed something unusual. A cargo vessel, Port Olia 4, moving quietly into the Caspian Sea. Its escort was the first red flag. Multiple warships, rotating aerial patrols, a hard shell of layered anti-air defenses, more protection than some billion-dollar ships receive. Then came the second flag. Intelligence indicated the ship carried components sufficient to build around 200 Shahed-type attack drones. This one shipment could feed Russia's drone war for months. Ukraine's planners ran the numbers. If Port Olia 4 reached its destination, Russia would regain its swarm advantage. If the vessel was stopped just once, production lines could stall, and Russia's battlefield pressure could loosen. But there was a problem. A conventional strike was impossible. A missile strike from the air would be suicidal, and trying to ambush the convoy directly would risk losing scarce aircraft and crew. The Russian escort wasn't just strong, it was designed to wipe out anything approaching from above. And that was the blind spot. Russian naval doctrine was predictable. Air threats first, everything else second. Their radars scanned the sky. Their crews trained for missiles, jets, and drones. Their sensors were optimized upward. That left low-altitude approaches and the water surface dangerously underdefended. Ukrainian commanders saw the opportunity, and they built a plan around it. A plan so intricate that even a single mistimed movement could collapse the entire operation. They called it the tri-vector strike. 3 simultaneous attacks, each designed to manipulate the enemy's instincts and overwhelm them from multiple layers of the battle space. At the heart of the operation was a single unmanned surface vessel, Shahed, a 30-foot stealth electric craft, autonomous, silent, and lethal. For almost 24 hours, Shahed ghosted toward the convoy. No engine roar, no lights, just slow, silent bursts of electric propulsion, 200 meters at a time to hide its thermal footprint. It moved like a shadow across the sea. By 3:40 a.m., only 8 minutes before the attack window, Shahed arrived at its ambush point. Engines cold, systems awake, waves brushing against its hull like whispered encouragement. Above, the Russian escorts patrolled confidently. Below, the Predator waited. They never saw it coming. The instant the convoy crossed into the kill zone, the first vector deployed. A spring-loaded decoy burst into the air. Just a heat source and a radar reflector. Cheap, lightweight, and perfectly engineered to look like a cruise missile on Russian radar. Inside the escorting corvette Tula, alarms shrieked instantly. On the radar screen, the decoy appeared as a high-speed, high-priority projectile heading straight for the ship. Russian doctrine left no room for hesitation. Airborne threats were always the top priority. From above, an Mi-8 helicopter fired an Igla-type interceptor, a missile worth tens of thousands of dollars at what they believed was a lethal Ukrainian strike. The decoy burned brilliantly for a moment and then vanished in a fireball. To Russian crews, it looked like a victory. To Ukraine's operators, it was the opening of the door. At that same second, Shahed's main engine awoke. The once silent craft surged forward, slicing through the sea at nearly 50 miles per hour. A surface-skimming missile disguised as a boat. Now the Russians had 2 threats, a supposed missile from the sky and a fast-moving vessel from below. Their defensive system split in confusion. Their operators hesitated. And in warfare, hesitation is death. With the decoy destroyed and the enemy's attention locked skyward, Shahed executed its hidden purpose. A hatch opened. 4 nano FPV drones, each barely the size of a shoebox, shot upward and stabilized. Their motors buzzed softly, high-pitched, menacing, insect-like. Then they pitched forward, aligning into attack formation like a tiny swarm of metallic hornets. Suddenly, 5 Ukrainian threats converged from different angles. A destroyed missile they thought was real, Shahed closing fast, and a swarm of nanos they weren't prepared for. The Russian corvette reacted instinctively, launching 2 hunter-killer drones to intercept. Its CIWS cannons unleashed a horrifying wall of fire, 10,000 rounds per minute, lighting the sea with streaks of tracer rounds. The night dissolved into chaos. Smoke tracers, metallic shrieks, operators yelling over radio, a swarm weaving through fire, modern war in total darkness. On the port side, a Ukrainian operator noticed a flaw. The corvette's CIWS couldn't depress low enough to hit sea-skimming targets. He dove his nano-drone toward the very barrel of the cannon fire, using the glowing tracer stream as camouflage. The Russian hunter drone pursued, straight into its own ship's gunfire. It evaporated in a burst of metal and flame. On the starboard side, 2 more nanos dragged a second hunter drone into a deadly chase. One operator made a decision: sacrifice his drone. He accelerated forward, a deliberate ramming maneuver. The collision wiped the hunter out of the sky. A few $100s of equipment had just neutralized machines worth hundreds of thousands. Asymmetric warfare in its purest form. 3 nanos remained, and nothing stood between them and the targets. The nanos streaked toward Port Oloyur 4. Russian deck crews opened fire wildly, AK-74s, PKM machine guns, even a DP-61 grenade launcher. But the drones were too small, too fast, too close. One nano detonated on the hull. Another dove toward the ship's exposed propeller. Its shaped charge punched a molten jet through the blade, shattering it like brittle glass. The 12,000-ton cargo ship groaned, then went still. It was dead in the water, drifting, burning, helpless, and that final distraction allowed Shahed to complete its fate. The unmanned vessel slammed into the corvette Tula at full speed. Its 2,000-pound warhead detonated beneath the waterline. The shockwave tore through steel. Compartments ruptured. The deck split. Within seconds, the corvette was sinking. Survivors jumped into the freezing sea as their ship disappeared beneath them. The final surviving nano-drone struck the cargo containers, igniting the volatile components inside. Flames tore through the deck. Explosions rolled across the ship. Port Oloyur 4 became a floating funeral pyre. By dawn, the horizon was choked with smoke. Debris drifted across the black water. Satellite imagery captured the aftermath. A Russian corvette gone. A giant cargo ship gutted by fire. Millions in equipment destroyed. According to intelligence reporting, drone production at a key facility dropped by nearly 30%, temporarily starving Russia's drone war machine. With fewer Shaheds in the sky, Ukrainian air defenders finally caught their breath. Ground forces used the moment to push forward, reclaiming several square miles of occupied territory. But the biggest revelation wasn't the victories, it was the vulnerability exposed. A navy built to fight planes had no answer for machines skimming inches above the water. The trivector strike wasn't just a tactical win, it was a turning point, a reminder that wars evolve faster than doctrines can adapt, a lesson in how desperation breeds innovation, and proof that a handful of cheap improvised machines, guided by operators with courage and precision, can overwhelm systems worth hundreds of millions. On that freezing morning, Ukraine had 78 seconds to change the future. They took it. Now the question echoes across every naval command on Earth: how fast can the world adapt before the next 78-second window decides their fate?